So recently, I got sponsored by Playside Publishing and Zoogaloo Entertainment to try out their brand new game, Thrive: Heavy Lies the Crown. There's a demo currently available in the Steam Next Fest until the 12th of February, so you can go check out all of what you're about to see for free for the next couple of weeks. And I've dropped a link in the description below for you. Make sure also to wishlist the game if you enjoy the demo for the final full release. Today, I'm going to go through a full 10 minutes of gameplay of my overall 3-4 hours with you to show you a bit of the essentials of Thrive, the resource gathering mechanics, city building, some of the tech trees and other various events that happen, and more. I have to say, to me, Thrive is like a cross between the Anno games in terms of resource gathering, city building, trade, etc., and Age of Empires in that RTS manner. You build a small village that grows into a town and a city. You can actually send caravans to other nearby cities, trade and engage with other kingdoms in diplomacy, and even wage a little bit of war. So let's dive straight in. So a mysterious evil fog called Walgrim has suddenly killed all the crops in the kingdom, the livestock, and some of the humble townsfolk, unfortunately, of the old kingdom, and the king is dead. In his final act of his rule, he's given you the crown, and you have uprooted everyone that's left to a new land with new opportunities. And this is the campaign map. So you choose where to start from a variety of regions, each with an attractiveness and water rating, although I think for the demo, the devs have set water to max no matter what, so don't worry about that. You pick your chosen region and then you choose what kind of a ruler you want to be. I haven't exactly figured out how these choices affect your gameplay yet, but I imagine further down the line, depending on how you deal with various events, you become a benevolent ruler or a tyrannical one, exploiting your citizens versus taking care of them. You start with 3 advisors who will every now and then give you various events to engage with that give you resources and other things, and you need to rebuild your kingdom, gather nearby resources, build your defenses against any unknown mysterious threats, and thrive, essentially. The demo covers all the events and progression of Act 1 of the campaign, at which point you're kind of locked out, but otherwise you've got free reign to do what you want. On my initial impression, the cool thing about this game to me is that it's not just a city builder, it's a bit of an RTS as well, hence the comparison with Age of Empires. You've got this huge campaign map with multiple kingdoms, enemies, and potential areas to build new cities in as well. You can engage in battle with barbarians, bandits, and you've got an enemy that starts with this cool Minas Tirith style city over here, which is quite menacing. And you can engage in diplomacy and trade with other little kingdoms and cities, requesting military aid, completing their missions for favor, and so on and so forth. The story itself is pretty straightforward. There's this threat, you need to deal with it, but with this weird evil fog and purple crystals start spreading around, it forces you to pay attention and find a way to resolve it before it engulfs your town and chokes out your resources and people again. The other thing is the game can be played in multiplayer, which is quite cool for an early access game. For a demo like this, you can play with up to 3 other players to create multiple kingdoms, engage with each other in war or peace, and take over the world together, which I really like. I haven't tried it myself. I don't know how stable and bug-free it is on that side, but I like that it's an option that they focused on this for the demo, and I can easily see if it works, it could be so much fun. Once you've started your campaign, you've got this little tutorial, which is great. It takes you through all the aspects of the game, mechanics, buildings, what to do first, terrain, how to deal with happiness, enemy invasion, starting a new city, and trading, and more. In a game like this, where numbers and production and everything can easily start getting quite difficult to track, it's quite nice to see an easy to follow tutorial that lays everything out for you. On the other hand, the UI does kind of leave me a little bit wanting. I mean, the buttons aren't super clear at all. The loads of building options I really wish had their names on them, so I didn't have to hover over each one to find out which one I want. The icons are quite small, and so the buildings all look quite similar, but as it is early access, I am looking forward to seeing what the developers do with this. So, in my 3 hours, how does it actually play? Well, you start off with this little caravan, the remnants of your once mighty kingdom, and you begin by building a keep, which is where your advisors live. Bodhi Declan is the chancellor and gives you advice on how to manage your people and their needs. Generally, when an event comes up, he'll be the guy that suggests we look out for our people's happiness and needs first. Then we've got Ossian Hayward, who is our kind of guard commander. He's always about addressing security, border defense, figuring out potential threats, and neutralizing them like a good military commander does. And finally, we've got Duke Donovan Stanton. These names are absolutely hilarious, but he's the treasurer. Basically, he's always looking out for money, which can be quite handy as all the technology is based on spending money to get them. And outside of trade, I haven't really figured out how to do that. Speaking of technology, it's pretty basic. Again, I'm hoping in a future update the devs do a bit more work to expand it, add some more options to affect the resource production, trading with other kingdoms, military tech, etc. As it stands, there really aren't that many options, but what I do like is that with every tech you research, there's a downside, a sacrifice. You can decrease the cost of building a farmhouse, for example, by 40%, but at the risk of increasing the chance of fire by 25%, which is a pretty hefty price. I mean, fire is not very easy to deal with unless you have a well nearby, and it can easily burn down the building if you don't have enough builders and stockpile people to go and put it out, essentially. Or you could increase firewood output, but then you'd need one stone to produce one firewood, which is an added cost, especially with how slow stone production can be. It's quite cool, and it forces you to make some difficult decisions. As I said though, hopefully we get more technological options in a future update. Other core mechanics like resource gathering, the city building, building placements, all that stuff is quite simple. It's well structured, it works, and visually there aren't that many graphics options, which is a shame because I find it quite sharp and oversaturated. Hopefully the game gets more options in the future to play around with this stuff and more. The shift from day to night, for example, could be a bit better, and nighttime just looks kind of off to me. Like the mountains are a bit too blue, there doesn't seem to be enough light in your village. Plus, I personally don't like that the cursor at night has this illumination feature, so hopefully that's toggleable or removed in future as well. The buildings themselves look quite cool, and the building animations as well are really nicely done, taking a page out of Manor Lord's book. And I think for an early access game, there's a lot here that's pretty good as a start and foundation for something greater. I just hope that development keeps doing that, making it more polished and refined. As it is a demo, of course, it's important to remember there are some bugs and issues here and there, but nothing that sticks out, and personally, I haven't even experienced a crash, which is quite good, and certainly nothing that's game-breaking. At one point, this wild adder beast appeared and started destroying my buildings. I was so confused by it, but I'm sure there's a way to make things like this dynamic events clearer for the player to engage with. The devs are also well aware of issues, they're always picking up feedback in the Discord, and are very timely with updates to rectify them quickly. Playing the demo, I've had a lot of fun, honestly, between building up a beautiful village, engaging the story to figure out what happened to the kingdom, what the other barbarian tribes and all these other cities are all about, was great to explore and experience. And I would say the core mechanics here work really well. I'm really keen on seeing where the development moves forward with potentially better expanded technology, a more vibrant UI, and especially some more graphics options. And really, I can't wait to see more of the story into the next act, where proper city building, more buildings, diplomacy, and other mechanics will, I'm guessing, well and truly shine. Overall, I would say Thrive is basically a mashup of Age of Empires and the Anno series in a fantasy setting. Some nice basic resource gathering, city building, and economy development systems here, the foundations of diplomacy, trade, warfare, all of which is there. I just didn't manage to engage with them very much because my game's kind of bugged out and I couldn't get that far into the campaign. Plus, this RTS style story and events, which looks quite cool. I wanted to find out more about what this strange evil Walgrim was, why it was spreading around the world, how you might work with other cities to fend it off and work together. It's got some issues, of course, but I don't see anything really all that terrible for a demo especially, and I would come back to play it again. It's fun, easy to play, and for a demo, it does the job really well. And that's it for today, guys. As I said, Thrive Heavy Lies the Crown is a demo currently available in the Steam Next Fest until the 12th of February, so you can go check all of this out for free for the next couple of weeks. I've dropped a link in the description below, and make sure to wishlist the game if you enjoy the demo for the game's full release. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Subscribe for more strategy game content just like this, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.